Hey you guys, what's up? Welcome back to What's the 504. I am your host, Christy B. If you are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. And if you are returning, welcome back. So you guys, I have been rambling on for like probably 20 minutes or so and then realized I never hit the record button. So here I am. I'm going to try to keep the same energy, of course, when I discuss this case. Okay, so I'm here to report an update on Orrin and Orson West. This is pretty much a review of what we already know so far about the case. Chief Walker did give an update to the news channel KGET Channel 17 News, but they didn't really play like the interview. The journalist or the news reporter just reported back and gave like kind of like a rundown or like a timeline of everything that we know so far about the case. So if you are not familiar with the case, Orrin and Orson West were reported missing on December 21st. They were residing in California City. Okay, this is according to the adoptive parents. Trezell and Jacqueline West are the adoptive parents who reported Orrin and Orson West missing on December 21st, where they were residing in California City. Okay, so many of us believe that the story that they gave was very suspicious, very suspect. Sounds kind of bogus, but according to Jacqueline and Trezell West, the story goes at about 4 p.m. on December 21st, Jacqueline was inside wrapping gifts, and she wanted Orrin and Orson West to go outside. She didn't want them to see her wrapping the gifts. Of course, this is like 4 days before Christmas. So apparently, they sent Orrin and Orson West to go outside on the patio or in the backyard where they have a nice square slab of concrete, and they gave them some chalk to play with. Trezell, which is the adoptive father, stated that he was loading up getting wood so that he can put into the fireplace, which they do show a fireplace inside the home. Okay, if you look at the property records, if you go online, you can see pictures of the home, and there is a fireplace in there. Okay, so he says that he was walking back and forth with the wood, and he went inside, and apparently when he came back out, the boys weren't there. They were missing. So he said he checked the backyard. He realized he had left the gate open, so he got worried. So then he went to proceed to go and look for the boys, which he said was, I think his original thing, he said he was searched for like almost 40 minutes or something like that. But in real time, based on surveillance from the neighbor's cameras, really he searched for like maybe 10 or 15 minutes or something like that or whatever. He jumped in his car. Went to look for the boys, and then came back and called the police. Whatever. That is the story that we give, but that he gave. But if you go and watch the actual interview with the news station when they reported them missing and everything, there's so much that's just very suspicious about this story, about their body language, how they were discussing the matter. It's just very, very suspicious. Okay, seems bogus, but that's just a personal opinion. Okay, so Chief Walker is basically still saying at this point they have no clue, no idea where Orrin and Orson West could be. None at all. So I'm trying to understand, if you have the assistance of Bakersfield Police Department and you have the FBI, so we know when we hear FBI, those three alphabets together, normally you think, whoa, this is like main scale, like way up here tier as far as investigative work, right? Compared to your everyday police department, you're like, whoa, FBI, nobody, who wants to be a part of that? Okay, nobody wants to be investigated by the FBI, right? But I'm confused because I don't understand how the FBI and Bakersfield Police Department is involved in helping on this case, and yet you still have no information. You have zero clue where the boys could be. Like, seems like you would have something, some idea of where you think they might be, or what the area, or who may have taken them, like something. I don't understand. It's been 2 months at this point. How do you still not have any idea? Like, I would be so frustrated if I was that concerned parent. Like, what do you mean you have nothing? What do you mean you have no idea? Your job is to find out. And I get that police departments, they're swamped. They have a lot of cases they're working on, but this is 2 young boys, 3 and 4 years old. I just don't understand how you have no clue. It's just crazy to me. And then, as I mentioned in the previous video, I was trying to get an idea of how reward money works. So I had mentioned before that I was just trying to get a general idea of how does reward money work. We know right now there's $122,000 reward money, and there's still like no real information out there of where these boys are, which is really odd. I mean, that's a high amount, like seriously. Okay, So there's $122,000 reward money. It's not really clear where that other $2,000 came from, which I think came in maybe the last couple of weeks. At one point, it was up to $120,000. So I'm not really clear where that additional $2,000 came from. I don't know if it's just random donations made or if another company stepped in and made a donation or what. But it's at 122. And since it's at 122, that also confirms that the initial money, the $25,000 that California City put up towards the reward money to find Orrin and Orson West, did not expire. So at one point, it was being reported that the money, that reward money specifically, that $25,000 was going to expire. So clearly it has not expired. So maybe they extended it or something like that. So this is why I was trying to get this information. So I called Officer Hanson, I believe it is, and left 2 messages. It's been a couple of weeks now and I have not gotten a call back. So I was just trying to get a general idea of how reward money works. Is it returned if the boys aren't found in, say, like 6 months? Does that money just sit there permanently forever and ever and ever? You know, if years go by, does that money still sit there? Or do they have to return the money to the people who offered this up? Like, I was trying to get clarity on how that works. And I get you're working on cases and, you know, trying to solve serious stuff. So time, you know, there's not a lot of empty time there for them to just make phone calls. I get that. But I mean, literally would take like probably 3 minutes to just answer a few questions on that. So anyway, you guys, I'm going to move on from that. So basically, this is what we know. It's just a rundown. December 21st, Trezell and Jacqueline West reported Orrin and Orson West missing. I just explained the story to you. We did get some additional information was about the biological mom. So she has spoken and she did say her name is Ryan Dean. She is the biological mother of Orrin and Orson West, which she originally named them Classic and Cincere Pedast. Okay, so that was their name when they were born, Classic and Cincere Pedast. She stated that she had left the boys in the care of someone else. When she returned to get them, that Orrin was like crying and she could tell that something was kind of off, that he wasn't just in his right zone for whatever reason. Okay. She said he wasn't in his right zone, so she decided to take him to the hospital or to the ER. She took him in, and they confirmed that his thigh bone had been broken. Okay, so mind you, right now they're only 3, and when they reported missing, they were 3 and 4 years old. So this occurred in 2018. So at that time, you take away 2 years, so you're talking about maybe, how old is that? 3 and 4. So you're talking about 1 and 2. At that time, 1 and 2 years old. So they were like super young to have a broken thigh bone. So she stated she does not know how they got a broken thigh bone. And she stated they were in someone else's care. But what is not clear is how did it go from Orrin having a broken thigh bone to both kids being put into foster care and then adopted out to Trezell and Jacqueline West. Like it's kind of like there's no clear information as to how did it escalate to that point if it was just a broken thigh bone. There's no details on that part. So it would have been interesting to know, like, how did it escalate? Because I know typically they have to send letters to the parent and let them know what's going on with their case. There's a plan that's put into place. There are certain steps that they're supposed to take and complete in order to see about getting their kids back. So it's not really clear on what happened between that time frame and them being adopted out. The biological mom, again, she also stated that she came from a good background. She does not have a police record. She's never been to jail or any of those things. So if this is the case, it's still not really clear, again, how did it escalate from a broken thigh bone to them being adopted out. But at this point, it's not really that relevant to the case because we're more concerned as to how they went missing from the adoptive parents' care. So that's what we're going to move forward with, okay? But I just wanted to give you that bit of information. So it was, they were born in Bakersfield. Their name was Cincere and Classic West. The last time that the biological mom, Ryan, seen them was at the end of 2018. That was the last time she said she saw them. Okay, and then they were adopted out to Jacqueline and Trezell West in 2019. Okay, so just to be clear on this, Jacqueline and Trezell West have a total of 6 kids. So 2 were biological and 4 were adopted. Two of the four, of course, is Orrin and Orson West. So when they adopted them, they renamed them Orrin and Orson West. So those other four kids, of course, were removed from the home and put into foster care once this case opened up, of course. Once they reported Orrin and Orson West missing, those kids, other kids were removed from the home. Now, they are in foster care. So a CPS worker did come on and do like a brief interview with the news station and said that, she gave general statement. This wasn't in particular specifically for Orrin and Orson West, but in general, she's stating, okay, when kids are removed from the home and put into foster care, the judge has to see them. They lay out a parental plan for steps or things that they need to complete. And then they review everything and look at the parents' progress and make a decision about whether the kid should go back to the home or possibly have that time frame extended to allow them to complete all of the steps if they didn't finish everything. So this was a general statement. So we don't even know when this case is scheduled to happen for Jacqueline and Trezell West to try to get their other four kids back. What is unclear is that this is still an ongoing investigation. So what are the findings on this? What are the findings that the judge would be ruling on to say whether they should go back to them or stay in foster care? What findings would they be working on with that if this is still an open investigation? Chief Walker saying they have no clue at all where Orrin and Orson West could be. I am curious to know what would they be basing their decision on, right? If they were just removed because up to the two other kids went missing, what kind of plan would be put into place and what steps would they be having to complete to get their kids back if it wasn't like something like child neglect, physical abuse, or, something like that? If it wasn't even, they weren't removed from the home because of that, then what steps did they put in place in that situation? Yeah, it's just not clear. I'm just kind of confused about that. And what I would like some clarity on too, as well, is, in what capacity is Bakersfield Police and the FBI involved in the case? Because it would seem like that they would be able to gather information that maybe, like I said, the regular police department couldn't gather, especially the FBI. So for them to still be saying that they have zero clue, zero idea what the boys could be is just kind of odd to me. So what capacity are they assisting? Are they just helping follow up on tips, or are they actually assisting with investigative work? We haven't heard much about what investigations in actual Bakersfield where we know for sure the boys were there. We don't know 100% yet for sure whether Orrin and Orson West were in California City. Of course, Chief Walker is saying that they talked to more neighbors, and there were neighbors that said that they saw the boys. But again, if they were more of a private family, how can the neighbors say 100% that the boys that they saw were Orrin and Orson West if they have 6 kids? And I believe that all of the kids are boys. I don't know if there's a girl or not. And so Chief Walker, he wouldn't confirm the ages of the other children. All he would say is that Orrin and Orson West were the youngest kids in the bunch. And I have stated in previous videos, why don't they question the other kids in the home to get an idea of what the home life was like? They have never clarified what the living situation was for Orrin and Orson West and Jacqueline and Trezell. They have never clarified, hey, this is what Trezell does for a living. He's normally gone all day. Jacqueline stays home with the kids, and she's a stay-at-home mom. She, takes care of the kids. So they never clarified if that's the situation, or if the kids were going to a daycare in the daytime, or none of these things were ever clarified, which is still, again, to me kind of odd, because normally they would give some more information like, okay, well, she's a stay-at-home mom. She stays home with the kids. She normally has them all day. This is the makeup of, what is the makeup of the household? And so Chief Walker, now he's obviously someone asked the question, because I've been trying to figure out, why wouldn't you ask the other kids what home life is like? Or is there any neglect or any type of other things going on that would be considered, questionable? Whatever, because the other kids are older. Initially, we understood that the oldest one was maybe 10 years old, but now Chief Walker is coming out saying he's not confirming any ages, but he also won't even confirm if the kids have been questioned. Why is that a secret? Again, I don't understand. Why is that part a secret? Okay, I get if you can't share the information that's maybe discussed, but why is it a secret to even say whether the kids have been questioned or not? Why is that part a secret? then you get on TV, and all the time it's, we don't know anything. We don't have any clues. We're still following up on tips. We're still following up on tips. But there's so much secrecy around simple things. Like, why can't you say? Again, I'm not a police officer. I don't know if there's guidelines, but I would think that that's a simple question that can be answered whether you talk to the kids or not. Like, I just don't understand why there's so much secrecy around this case. I mean, there's a lot that's being withheld, and a lot of times it's not even things that you would think would be something you would withhold. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. So anyway, you guys, I think that's pretty much it, you guys. Oh, I did want to report, the difference here is the past few weeks that they have been coming on and stating that if you want to report any tips anonymously, that you can call the witness. You can call the secret witness line. Now, I did mention in my previous video, because I have been trying to get information on how reward money works, and I hadn't got a call back from the officer on the case. Okay, so I called Bakersfield. Police Department. I think it was Bakersfield Police. I called Bakersfield Police Department. Okay, because they have police department, they have the sheriff's office. So I called the police department. I was able to speak with someone that works in communications, in the communications center, and she was able to answer some questions for me. But yeah, I wasn't able to get a lot of information regarding like how California City operates when it comes to reward money. But anyway, in that video, I did mention that Bakersfield Police Department actually said they work with an agency, a third-party agency, and it's called Witness Protection. Now, I didn't mention it in the previous video because I just wasn't sure like how much information I could release based on phone calls placed to the department. But since now they're actually promoting the secret witness hotline in the new news updates now for the past couple of weeks, they have been giving the secret witness anonymous tip line now, in addition to the California City Police Department phone number, which I am going to give you at the end of the video. Now I'm like, okay, I'm going to say, what organization it is. So pretty much secret witness organizations, they pretty much collect donations from the community and they assist the police departments with resolving crimes. And so they have the hotline that you can call. You can leave anonymous tips, anonymous information, and there is a committee that would decide like how much reward money can be given to the person based on the value of the information that was received, and if it leads to actually finding out what occurred or where the missing persons are, or maybe if it's some other type of crime or case involved. So I am glad that they added this option in. And again, a lot of times with the reward money, it's like it says it's 100, like right now it's $122,000. We don't know. I don't know where that other 2K came from in the past 2 to 3 weeks. I'm not clear on that last 2K there. We know it's 122,000. But what's not clear is like, really, if someone calls and they gives valuable information, are they really going to get like $122,000? Usually, I think what it is they'll decide on, like, based on the information, how much reward money that person would get. Because normally it would say it's like you can get up to this amount, meaning you're not guaranteed to get that highest tier, but you can get up to this amount. And basically they would have to decide based on the information given and where it leads the case and different things like that. Now, I did read that $25K that the California City is offering, that reward money is based on actually mostly resolving the crime. So like, I guess if they find the missing persons and then a person is tried and convicted, then you would get that reward money. I would assume that's the same with missing cases. That's what was mentioned in a previous update article that I did read a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, so that's pretty much it, you guys. I had to write some of this stuff down because there's a lot of information to remember. But I think I have gone over everything, you guys. And if you have any additional information or links that you want to provide, maybe you have some information that I have not located, please feel free to comment below, put the link down there, or whatever. Tell me how you feel about the case so far. Do you think Chief Walker, do you think the police department is doing the best that they can? with the resources they have? Do you think that they're being forthcoming about the information that they have, or do you think that there's some secrecy going on, a lot of stuff that's being withheld that would normally seem like it shouldn't be withheld? I don't know. It's just my personal opinion that I just think that some of these questions that he won't give information on to me is just not really a cause to be a secret. So again, that's just my personal opinion. I don't work in the police department. I don't know their guidelines, but yeah. So you guys, again, thank you so much for checking out the channel. If you have not done so, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, and comment below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, you guys, smooches.